fresh out of midgets.
Fresh out of midgets. That's true.
They're harder to come by.
Hi, welcome to Fridays on the Fly. This is episode 14. I'm Eric.
And I'm Ward. We are creative people with a lot of creative projects.
First thought, your creative projects. You seem to have many, many more than I do. Recently, you've been putting a lot of stuff on YouTube. Almost so much so that I can't watch it. Why? Because I have a 4-video limit a day. Just so you know. Why are you putting all this out there?
To backtrack a little bit, just when I think I have so much going on that I can't do anymore, I find something like, man, it'd be really cool if I did this.
You did a minute
And
video
then I do it
about movie.
Before, I felt like some of these projects, making stuff was a hobby. Now that I'm pretty much blogging, vlogging, and podcasting, and it really feels like a job now. It feels like a fun job. Okay, I'm off work. Now the real job starts.
Have you done any more vlogs other than the first 2 that you've already done? Or are you working on another one?
Oh, yeah. I'm working on 2 right now. One is the one you helped me with last week after the podcast. We got to re-record some stuff because my camera, if there's the least bit of shadow, it's not going to pick it up. So I've got some stuff, but there's a little bit more we need to do.
You could have just brought my camera, put your SD card in it, filmed with that, and then take it out. I mean, my camera's it catches a lot of light.
I like my camera.
I'm just saying, mine has a big, it's got a 56 millimeter opening on it. I mean, it just captures a lot of light.
Well, now that I've seen the footage and I know what didn't work, now I have a really clear picture of what will work.
You're not going to be satisfied till I get shot, are you? Because there was actually just something in the news locally. Did you see this?
No.
Oh my gosh. There's an apartment complex with a playground next to it. And this guy in a black robe, you saw this.
Jennifer told me about this today. I had not heard about it.
Walked out and dropping raw meat. You're going to get me shot by a neighbor. That's what's going to happen because they're going to think that I'm that creep who's walking around with a black hood and a black robe, and I'm going to get shot.
It's funny you should say that. In my freezer, I got some raw meat I was hoping you could drop.
I don't want to know what's in that freezer.
Actually, I forgot your original question. You had a lead up, and then
I'm sorry. I forgot what it was. Just because when I saw that thing on the news, I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're gonna think this is me." Yes, we saw this guy. He was right outside of Lester's house. No, the question was
why I'm doing all this.
Yeah, you are like blanketing multimedia right now.
Not to digress again, but I'm going to. So now that we're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, I feel like we're a legitimate podcast. So I sent out to all my friends, hey, you need to like this podcast page. Within the first 5 minutes, I had 5 likes, which, by our standards, that's pretty amazing.
Good. That's double.
Yeah.
We've doubled the likes.
We really did. And I feel like, the next day we'll probably get a few more. So
I guess I got to put them out there. I mean, what are you doing that on? Facebook?
Yeah. And I like that on Facebook, you don't even like our podcast page. So I did invite you to like it today.
I didn't get anything saying about it. Oh, I didn't check Facebook. So I just don't check Facebook very much. I mean, I know I probably should since we have the podcast, but really the only thing I do on Facebook is attach pictures from Instagram. So I'll Instagram something and attach it to Facebook, and I'll never check the Facebook. Occasionally, I'll make a comment back if somebody makes a comment.
You gotta start repping the podcast now.
I did share it, I think, one week.
There you go. And you really should check out our podcast Facebook page because, in essence, I'm curating cool content. It'd be a really cool page to visit. It's all the stuff I like because I'm making it.
Really? So I don't even like the page yet?
No, you don't even like the page, which is why you don't see anything from it.
I gotta really get on there.
But every day I'll post a link of a cool project or some bit of information, something about movies.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy stuff.
Well, it's amazing the stuff that I find. Somehow you are hooked through my Gmail. So I'll get an email saying, Ward posted this, and I'll click on it, and it was the elevator buttons with the Friday on the Fly. Was it elevator buttons? Yeah, it was elevator buttons. One said fire. It was an emergency. One said fire police, and the other one was Fridays on the Fly.
Yeah.
Where did you post that at?
That's because you like our Instagram page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
I have no idea where half of this comes from. I'm like, wow, he's got a lot of time on his hands.
I really don't.
Really earning that 80%.
I really am. I'm like off 35.
80% of nothing.
We did an Instagram page. I don't know if it's good, but I thought that so many people use their Instagram page just to advertise. I'm like, what if I just go really ridiculous and just copy other advertisements and just slap Fridays on the Fly on it? Really sloppy. I find it funny. I don't know if anybody else does or not.
I have to look into it more because I don't check other people's pictures very often.
I forget to post stuff. I've got like a few pictures I've been meaning to post for 2 or 3 weeks. I just keep forgetting.
That's because you have so much. So the multimedia thing, I guess what's been catching my eye with what you've been doing are the minute movie reviews, but I haven't seen any of the movies. I'll only click on the ones that I've seen, which I think has been one so far. I can't remember what it was, but I clicked on it and I was like, he's dead on.
Good.
It's just that one. That was the only one that I saw. And then the vlog. The first one I thought was a little then the second one I thought was really good. The second one was the podcasting one.
I thought there's less content to the second one than the first one, so I find it interesting you like that one more.
It just looked better, I think. The first one, you really just, I was expecting more kind of introduction, but it was like jump right into meeting this guy and that was it. Not in a gay way.
Yes. Well, any of that one, I just thought, wow, this is a good thing to vlog about. You know, so I'm still finding my way into that medium. But to get back to your original question that I've diverted a few times, why am I doing all this? It comes down to a number of things. I think one is that I created this blog originally. My blog was the original creation. I did that to chronicle my projects because again, it's for me when I go back and I think, hey, I want to build a Ghostbuster trap again. How did I do that the first time? I've got a very clear instruction on how I did that.
Right.
You know, I've seen videos and anecdotes of people who just posted their random thoughts online and something came of it. And I thought, well, you know, I have all these thoughts that I'm keeping to myself. How cool would it be for me 10 years down the road where I look at my blog and I'm like, well, hey, I thought about that was my thoughts. So pretty much I'm just dumping whatever comes to my head. I'm dumping it on the blog. The vlog and my YouTube channel are basically coming from, it's an extension of the blog, you know? I'm like, and most of it's just cataloging memories. I was thinking, I think I said this last podcast episode, I wish I'd caught like a video of a typical day when I was in college. I never did, never had a camera. So now since I'm just capturing memories for myself and, you know, for my family.
Man, I don't even know how you got started, because when I think about starting, I'm like, geez, what do I have to do? I've got to do this. I've got to make it look interesting. Maybe I should have like 3 cameras and, you know, it's just the getting started where I...
Yeah, 3 cameras. I mean, you really...
the jumping off point.
If you really want an easy way to start, I'd look into Vine because it's a maximum of 6-second video.
6 seconds?
Yeah. Vine's become pretty big. And it's really easy because you feel like, oh, YouTube, I need to kind of produce something, edit something. Vine, you don't have time to edit. Right. So you just capture the funniest or silliest thing you can in 6 seconds and you post it.
Is Vine like Instagram, like where you have friends and all that? I mean,
yeah.
I haven't been on there yet.
Vine was the first to do like quick videos. And then Instagram copied them and they said, oh, we'll let you do 15-second videos. But everybody's already on Vine. It's like, forget that Instagram. I like that. I'm not on it. It's nice because you don't have to think about editing. I mean, 6 seconds. You know, you can do like a jump cut, like take a video for 3 seconds, take another one to, you know, people like just try to do quick jokes.
Yeah.
I've seen people get hit by cars. And, you know,
I want it to
stunts.
be edited, though. I want to edit it. It's just doing it.
Got to get on that horse.
Because I have a very high standard, I think, with the way I want things to look.
Sure.
What else was in the vlog, the last one? I remember the time lapse of us. What else did you do in the last vlog?
That was it. I think I had an intro.
Oh, then you talked at the end too. You had I forgot that. Yeah, you put that in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a quick time lapse of my commute because every day I drive for a long time.
No, it wasn't a time lapse of your commute. It was a time lapse from church, I think, because it took you through Reedsville and took you through the 2 circles. Yeah.
That day I'd driven through downtown, so that was the time lapse.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and then I did a time lapse of us actually recording the podcast,
which I thought was good.
Yeah, and then just a few of my thoughts.
And I'm way more animated than you.
Yes, even Jennifer is like, "Wow, he is way animated. You are not.
You don't move at all."
No. But you're talking about how I got started. Last week, I recorded something. Aiden and I were playing on the swing set, and so I just recorded a little bit. I didn't know what to do with it. It wasn't really enough of an idea for a full blog. But then we went to a birthday party over the weekend. So we were on a playground, so I copied some of that. Some of these things just kind of I'll record here and there, and then it kind of comes down like, oh, you know, this is enough to put together to make something. But now
Could you imagine having to do it every day? Or doing it every day? My gosh, having enough content?
If I didn't have a full-time job already, it'd be easier. Like I could maybe find some stuff. But man, at night, just making one a week. You know, I come home like with the podcast and everything. I'm working 2 jobs.
That's why you're getting the 80%. Yes. That's why you got it.
I've got it. Too bad it's not doing anything for me. Well, I'm going to switch subjects.
Oh, go ahead.
So I work for somebody else. I work in a company. And I work on a computer. And every now and then things go wrong with the computer. I have an impeccable track record of when something goes wrong. I'm like, yeah, it's the video card. I've never been wrong. Like I diagnose these things really quickly, real easily. And of course, the IT people have to walk through
their steps.
And if I
turn it off for 10 seconds, turn it back on. Like we all don't know that one.
So, you know, 30 minutes later, like, hey, you were right. You're exactly right. That's what it was. So I get in one morning. My internet doesn't work. And so I realize that we have voice over IP phones, and it runs through the phone, then into the computer. Right. So my first thought is, it's the phone. Right. So I ask one of the office people, can I have a spare phone? I just want to check, see if it's the phone. I'm like, well, why do you need a spare phone? And I run through the problem. I'm like, oh, well, it can't be the phone. That's impossible. That wouldn't affect it. So I'm thinking, well, the internet line runs through the phone to the computer. I feel like it's possible. So, of course, then they had to come back, I'm like, well, try your internet. Pull up a web page. Pull up the web page. It doesn't load. I'm like, see, that's one thing that's the phone. It's like, well, it can't be the phone. Let me call the IT person. So they go to call the IT person, and then I think, well, I don't need the phone. I'll just plug the internet right into the computer. So I do that.
That's my first thought.
Then 5 minutes later, they come back. Yeah, I called IT. They logged on your computer. There's no problem. I said, yeah, I just hooked it straight to the internet line. She's like, oh, no, that can't be it. Okay, hold on 1 minute. Watch this. So I plug it into the phone. Internet drops. I plug it in the computer. Then it comes right back up. That's what leading me to believe that it is the phone is the problem. And the person's like, well, let me get another phone and we'll just check and see. So then we check and see. And that was it. And
I asked you for that an hour ago.
Yeah. And, it's fine that they want to run through. I mean, they have to decide for themselves.
They have their process,
but at least acknowledge the fact that, hey, an hour ago, I was right. I had the right answer.
It was the phone.
And I want to just be competitive, but I work with these people, so I can't just scream at them. What's wrong with you? Just listen to me.
Stop being an idiot.
I've taken computers apart, put them back together.
Well, the thing is, it's like any system. I mean, if you have DirecTV or if you have a computer, you work with this stuff enough or you watch it enough that you know when something's really wrong. When you have to pick up the phone and call someone, chances are it's not going to be I unplugged it for 10 seconds and plugged it back in. I got that already. I hit the reset button. It's still broken.
The IT people, I mean, I can bear with them. They get a lot of calls, I'm sure, from people that have no clue to even turn a computer on. But this person I was dealing with, they're not in IT. So I feel like we should both know I know more than you. So let's leave it at that.
We both know this, right? But I guess I'm one of those people too, especially if I think I know something and somebody doesn't know it. I could totally see myself being that person in your office where you're like, no, it's the phone. And I'm like, no, let's just check to see if it's the I think you are too. I think you would, yeah.
Well, I feel like I know more than everybody else, so.
Well, I think we all feel that way. That we all know more than everyone else, not that you know more than everyone else.
I liked the first thing I got out of that.
I was thinking about the idea that we had about the movie reviews.
That we do on the podcast or the ones I do?
No, the movie reviews, I don't know, not that we do on the podcast, but the movie reviews we were talking about doing.
Yes.
The movie preview review. The
movie trailer park review. I've been thinking about that too. I want to get that done.
How do you see the setup? We're both trailer park? I mean...
Yeah. I have an idea of what makes YouTube videos successful. I don't know because I've yet to launch a successful one. But from what I see, it seems like the crazier, the over the top, the sillier it is, the better they seem to do.
See, I disagree. I think it's the more realistic it seems. Not realistic, but I don't know what the right word I'm looking for is. I think when they're
more
ridiculous...
produced?
I think when they're ridiculous, I don't watch it. It's something that's done well, I'll watch it. By well, I don't know really what I mean.
I get what you mean because the video I'm talking about making with the trailer park thing is not something I would technically watch. Do you know the name of the person with the most subscribers on YouTube? PewDiePie, that's his username. He has 38 million subscribers. He dwarfs anybody else. He makes millions a year.
What does he...
He does Let's Play where... Well, he does a lot of things. Primarily, he does video games Let's Play where he plays a video game and you watch him and he comments. If you think silly videos don't do well on YouTube... Look at his catalog. He is the most popular personality on YouTube.
Well, those are not silly videos. He's probably walking people step through step through.
No. I've watched his videos. They're silly videos.
So it's not like it's not like you're on level 9, stage 2 and wow. Who's watching this?
38 million people. But you have to remember that one of the driving forces of YouTube, one of the biggest groups are teenagers, and they like silly stuff like that. So I just want to make a silly video and see, does this do better than everything else? And if it doesn't, then I'm just back to square one on what makes a video successful.
I think midgets would do it.
That will definitely do it.
I think the midget acting out the film as we talk about the film, but like a 10-minute synopsis of the film would be even better than the trailer. Trailer park trailer reviews. Trailer park trailer reviews.
Movie trailer park reviews.
No, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Trailer park trailer reviews. Because they're reviews of trailers from the trailer park.
But movie trailer park.
Trailer park reviews? Is that
movie trailer park reviews.
Oh, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. It's clever. I mean, nobody will get it, but it's still clever.
Nobody will get it.
I can make the trailer park reviews right now with what I have. Fresh out of midgets.
Fresh out of midgets. That's true.
They're harder to come by. Well, let's do a project update. So my quest to learn how to play the keyboard
has come to an end.
Close. This week was not a good week for it.
Just didn't have the time?
Trying to get these videos together, trying to get the podcast together. does not leave much time for anything else.
You have a lot of videos. That's what I'm saying. That's how often do you do the movie minute reviews? Because that seems like every other day I see one of those.
So far, the process, which has been going on for 6 weeks now, which seems crazy to me. Typically, Saturday night or Sunday afternoon, I will record all my reviews and then cut them, throw them up Sunday. So every Sunday for the past 6 weeks, they've gone up. And now I post, 3 or 4, however many movies I watch that week.
Yeah. There's got to be something else to it. There's just something missing from those.
Oh, definitely.
And I don't know what it is.
I think I need to, eat like a spoonful of sugar beforehand. Just really
well, and that's the thing is you're very straight.
Yes. When I look at my first one, I look at the latest one. It's getting better. Not as steep as a curve.
What do you think that is? I mean, do you think that is because you're talking to a camera, or do you think that you're just typically kind of not so animated?
Yeah. I'm not high energy typically, so but
again, but you're full of opinion though, and I think that's not what's coming out in the video, and it's especially not you're not one to express things with your hands or with your facial gestures or anything like that. Your words do it, but even then, you don't seem to be expressing yourself like as much as, especially with someone with your knowledge of movies.
Well, see, my idea is to keep it short. There's so many good reviewers out there and so many well-known reviewers that who am I? But so I feel like my draw is, hey, I'm going to review this movie in 1 minute, except I haven't even done that because all the reviews are longer than a minute.
Yeah, they are.
But they're close. I feel like, well, the actual review is a minute. There's some front and back that's a little longer.
I'm trying to think what you could do.
My original idea way back when was to review every movie as some kind of character. Because I have all these different costumes that I could do that with.
You think you should do characters? I don't know if that's
That was my original idea, but right now...
No, see, because I think you know movies well enough, and you know what's good. So I think it's just, I don't know what it is. I don't know what you need to do. I don't think it's characters, though.
Well, right now I'm just using it as a way to get better on camera, develop whatever persona I would develop. A monologue is tough to review a movie. I feel like on the podcast, when we talk about movies, it's easier to kind of delve into opinion and go a little farther because, you're having somebody bounce off of.
Unfortunately, I'm not the right person to bounce off of because I haven't seen 90% of the movies that you have.
That's true.
You need to start watching older movies.
I watched an older one this week, last week.
What did you watch?
A Place in the Sun, 1951.
Let me rephrase. Older movies that people have seen.
That is a very well-acclaimed movie.
I've never seen it. I've never even heard of it. Who's in it?
Montgomery Clift and Elizabeth Taylor.
Wow. No, never saw it.
Very acclaimed movie. But since we're talking about movies I watched this week, I did watch A Place in the Sun. And my problem with older movies, they all kind of have this style of, it's like a theater production. It's a lot of overacting and a lot of overdramatic, and that kind of kills me a little bit. But this movie, the story is so good. It's simple. This guy, he's down on his luck. He's, in essence, poor, but he has a rich uncle. So he seeks out this rich uncle, and he gets a job, bottom of the ladder, in this factory. Well, in the factory, he meets a girl. They start dating. Even though there's a rule in the factory, you don't fraternize with, but he does it anyway to keep it secret. Well, he's doing so well working, his uncle gives him a promotion, and where he's kind of a manager, he and the uncle, they kind of socialize. So he's in this upper class people, which that's what he wanted from the beginning. He was poor. He wants to be in this upper class.
Right.
Well, so then he meets a girl that's a socialite, and he starts dating her. He's still dating the first girl. Then the first girl gets pregnant. Oh, but he likes being in the upper class.
So he kills her.
That's what he comes up with, right?
Really?
But this is...
I was kidding.
But this is the best part. This is what makes the movie. He comes up with a plan he's going to take her out to this lake in a boat. He rents the boat under assumed name. He had left his socialite girlfriend. And they're all kind of like, well, where's he going? He's acting kind of strange. So it's set up to where he doesn't even have that great of an alibi. He goes to the lake, and he's about to push her over, and he decides, I can't do this. I cannot do that. And of course, by this time, she's wondering, the girl in the boat is wondering what's going on.
Why is he holding me over the water?
So she gets upset. She stands up, rocks the boat. They both fall out.
Turns out he can't swim.
No, but that was part of the movie. The boat tips. They go in the water. Next scene is him on shore alone. So they don't even show you what happened.
And that's the end of the movie?
No. They go on. I felt the little ending went a little bit long. What you have to rely on as far as what happened is this guy's word. He tells the cops that, I wanted to kill her. I planned to kill her. But when I was out there, I just couldn't. He's like, I know you won't believe me, but the boat tipped. I just couldn't save her. So you don't know. Is he just telling the cops that, try and get out of it? Did he really drown her? And you don't know.
Well, you said the boat tipped over.
Yeah. But just
you don't know what happened after the boat tipped over.
Did he say, trying to reach you, can't do it? You don't know how much effort he put into it. And then in the end, when he's in jail and he's convicted, the priest suggests, well, maybe you were just thinking about your other girlfriend that you didn't put in as much effort as you could have. So the question is, was it right he was convicted because he intended to kill her? Or was it right he's convicted because maybe he really did? You don't know. And I like that it's that open-ended question of, well, if he didn't intend to kill her, maybe he shouldn't be in jail.
I think movies like that, I think when he's saying that he didn't mean to kill her, that is actually what happened. I mean, did they ever imply that maybe that's not what happened? See, in the older movies like that, usually when they say that, that's actually what happened. I mean,
I feel like he's a bit unreliable, though. I mean, because, he lied to his girlfriend, so we know he's a liar.
man, I got to see this movie.
And he's telling the cops one thing. Why would you tell the cops, yeah, I definitely killed her, cuff me up?
Why would he tell them that at all? Why would he tell them we rode out here so I could kill her? And then why would he just say we were out on a boat trip, the boat tipped over, and I couldn't save her?
Well, because they had all the witnesses that, he's acting kind of shady. When he rented the boat, he gave a false name. Oh. So there's a lot of, kind of corroborating evidence where he was guilty, there's no question.
Well, I mean, not guilty of killing her yet, though. I mean, it's just guilty of.
Well, in the cops' eyes, he was guilty. Yeah, what makes that movie is the fact they never show it. So it's up to you to say, was the guy telling the truth? Do I believe him? Do I not believe him?
I love that.
Oh, yeah. So I really enjoyed that movie, despite the overacting. And, man, the score was really intrusive. I like a movie where you hear the music, or at the end of it, you think, was there a score? I don't know. Even though there's music playing throughout. This, when the music was playing, you knew. So I wish it was a little more subtle. But again, I feel like it's just typical for movies of the 50s.
I'm about to jump in, and I've read your first review, and this is what has held me off so long from watching it. True Detective Season 2. Should I jump into this or no? After reading your first review, that is what has held me off this long, because I was like, Somebody posted this thing on Instagram. It's picture of Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, and it says, True Detective Season 3. They get Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey back to find out what happened to Season 2. I thought that was really funny, and I thought maybe I should watch it just because of that.
What was your feeling on Season 1?
I thought Season 1 was amazing. I never thought took Matthew McConaughey seriously as an actor. Sure. I like Dazed and Confused, Richard Linklater. Can't take him seriously then. He's playing, kind of a jerk. And then those other movies, I've seen him in like Failure to Launch, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Like those were all date movies. So I never took him seriously as an actor.
He didn't intend for you to. I mean, he did Dazed and Confused, but after that, he did really nothing of note. He did all these rom-com crappy movies.
Well, no, I mean, he did things like what? I think he did like The Pelican Brief.
That was early, though. That was before the rom-com. That rom-com stint, that was what he did. And when he stopped that,
right,
he was out of the business for a couple years. But he said that he decided that was not the kind of movies he wanted to make. He wanted to make good movies. He'd been doing rom-coms. That's all anybody offered him. So for 2 years, he got nothing. The Lincoln Lawyer is what kind of relaunched his career.
Oh, right.
He did Lincoln Lawyer. Killer Joe was in there somewhere. The big one was Dallas Buyers Club. He did all these movies right in a row, which dovetailed into True Detective and relaunched his career.
And then somewhere in there, he did Tropic Thunder.
Did he do Tropic Thunder?
He played the agent that was flying him out, trying to get the DirecTV out to Vietnam to him.
Nice.
After I saw that, I was like, man, that guy's incredible. And I always liked Woody Harrelson. He's always all over the place. 1 minute he's playing Flint. Can't think of his first name.
Larry Flint.
And 1 minute he's playing Larry Flint. The next he's Woody on Cheers. The next he's in
Kingpin.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, so he's just everywhere. So, but he was incredible too, man. I thought it was great. I thought True Detective Season 1 was great. What did you think?
I loved Season 1.
Yeah.
And what made it really good, and see, this is the device where you're looking at interviews in present day, and Matthew and Woody, they're telling you the story, right, but when they show you the flashback, that's not the story they're telling the cops. That made Season 1. You can't use it again in Season 2. You've done it. There's no cool plot device in Season 2. No. So as your friend, I cannot recommend watching Season 2.
What's a shame is I really like Vince Vaughn. But Colin Farrell, I can give or take Colin Farrell.
It's been a while since I've seen Season 1. I felt like the dialogue was... Vince Vaughn had some very wild dialogue.
Probably stuff he made up because he's known for like improving.
And the writer, Nick Pizzolatto, I don't know if it's just Matthew McConaughey can pull off the dialogue better. But Vince Vaughn, some of the stuff, generally, I would turn to each other and just start laughing. It's just not how normal people talk. And I don't want to get into Vince Vaughn if you haven't seen it, but it's one of those things where I think that the show didn't really get watchable. Season 2 didn't get watchable until halfway in.
Oh, really?
Like, it's just so much filler and runway and trying to set it all up. Once we got to see episode 4, episode 5, my thought was, why didn't they start it here? They gave us all this stuff. And then the first episode was probably the worst of shoehorning it all in there.
And that's what basically your first review said, and that's why I was like,
really? I think if you just read my reviews, it'll save you a lot of time and go a lot quicker.
Well, I didn't want to continue reading the reviews because I thought, I might watch this, so we'll see. I'll see what you say, because I know it just ended, right? It just ended.
Yeah. I was disappointed. It just...
Oh, the ending wasn't great.
It was okay, but the first one also had this supernatural vibe to it. And I remember the first season, you were picking apart every scene, like, oh, what does this little detail mean? You just didn't have that in this season. Yeah, I was disappointed.
Well, I guess I won't watch that then. I guess I could delete all those off the DVR.
And I will say, and I don't know if this is true or not. I heard HBO made a statement saying, because Nick Pizzolatto, he's the only writer on the show, which is very rare. And usually TV, you have a writing room, you have a lot of people involved. HBO executive definitely said this, that if he wants to come back for season 3, we'll definitely have him back. Now, I haven't verified this part, but I was pretty sure that he signed a contract, the writer, for season 2 and 3. Usually when you're under contract, people don't say, well, if you want to come back, you can. Right. Usually they say, you're under contract, you're coming back. But I haven't verified if he's under contract, but I feel like that's telling. I feel like next year, True Detective season 3 will not be written just by Nick Pizzolatto. He's going to have some help on the next season.
Well, that, I mean, selecting the actors seems to be kind of key, too. I mean, what did you think about Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn's performance as compared to Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey? My
question is the writing, because I feel like, did Vince Vaughn and Colin Farrell do a good job? Sure. But my question is, did the writing hold them back? And also, part of the problem is they had more characters this season, so you're kind of taking time away from everybody else. And Taylor Kitsch is in it. He was one of the main people, and he felt like he shoehorned in. They didn't really develop him based on face value, not trying to figure out, was this the writing, is this the actor, whose fault is this? The acting in season 1, definitely better.
I did not expect it from those two guys. Not at all. The acting to be that great. Woody Harrelson and another thing that I just saw, I saw a preview. Now, this is going to open up a whole nother section of movies. You may have seen some of them. You may have seen all of them. I don't know. But I saw a preview for War Room.
Is this a Christian movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen flyers for that.
Have you seen any other things like Courageous?
Fireproof, right.
Have you seen any of those?
Is War Room a Kirk Cameron joint?
I think so, yeah. I think I'm fairly certain it is. And I saw a 4-minute clip of it where this woman is doing a monologue. I was cringing for her because of the writing and her acting. It was awful. When we were showing it during church, we did a song. Pastor came up, did his little morning spiel, morning. Watch this 4-minute video. Thank goodness I'm in the back. I'm in the back in a dark room, 40 feet from where it's being shown. I was cringing because it was just, the acting is so bad. The writing is even worse. I mean, have you seen Fireproof, Courageous?
To clarify, did you say a 4-minute monologue?
4-minute, where she's talking to the devil, telling the devil to get out of her house.
Well, I don't know much about War Room other than I saw a flyer or a poster. Is it as cool as it sounds, like they're in a war room and there's a big fight?
No.
That was my concern.
No. The gist of this movie is this couple buys a house. The old woman that used to live there before used to have a prayer room, a place that she would go into and pin prayers on the wall.
Oh, is this a horror movie? Like it's haunted now?
That's kind of what the scene looks like. I'll explain the scene in a minute. So she goes in, pins up all the prayers. The new couple moves in. They see it. They take all the stuff down. And I guess the devil starts to invade their lives.
Is the devil like an actual person, or is it just like a presence they all feel?
A presence they all feel. By her monologue, you would assume that he's like sitting on the sofa. They take the stuff down. The husband starts to kind of stray, sees other women, and while he's out on like a date, the wife she's in the prayer room, she's pinning prayers up, and she goes through this like 4-minute monologue. And it's her screaming at the devil, get out of the house. And at one point, she walks outside and she's on the front porch yelling on the front porch. And she goes back in. 10 seconds later, she opens the door, comes back out, and goes, and one more thing. We're in the back, so I go, stop taking my papers, Mr. Johnson. I know it's you. But it's just so corny. Like I said, have you seen Fireproof and Courageous? And I'm trying to think of some other ones.
Those are that
same
ones.
Group that's done, because it's a group and basically Kirk Cameron. Have you seen any of those?
Seen Fireproof, seen Courageous.
Thoughts?
One of the movies that came out, what was it? There Is No God, or God's Not Dead.
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah.
This is going to be telling of my opinion on it. It's been in my Netflix queue for months now. Haven't put it to the top.
And you consider yourself a Christian. Do you consider yourself less of a Christian for not having seen this movie sitting in your Netflix queue?
Well, as a person that likes movies, that likes quality movies, right, I feel like I get a pass on that. I don't know. I think Christian movies are difficult because the people making them, you have to show Christians as perfect. You have to show them as squeaky clean.
I don't think those movies do that.
They kind of do.
Right. It's never anything it never seems real.
Well, no. It kind of seems theatrical in a way.
It is extremely theatrical. This movie just looks no different. And at our church, we're hyping it up and giving away free tickets and go see it. I've never gone to see one of those just because. And then I'll watch it. I saw Courageous, and it was when it was on Netflix or something like that. I got halfway through and I was like, I'm done.
I saw Courageous. My thought was, Well, it's pretty good for a Christian movie. I feel like you have to put Christian movies in a whole separate category.
Right.
Because you can't expect The Godfather, Citizen Kane of a Christian movie.
But as Christians, are we going to watch these movies and leaving going, that was phenomenal, so powerful? Why are we supporting these movies if they're garbage? Because they're not good.
They don't have Walter White in them, and he's the devil.
Well, see, that's essentially what we're saying. We're saying that we're perfect and we're going to go see these movies because we don't watch those other things. Come on, man. We all watch those other things.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem with the movies is that, I feel like the characters are too perfect. I did say Breaking Bad. I'm going to get back to that. I can't remember which season it was, but I remember it might have been when he was under the house and his wife had taken his money or something like that. And he's just screaming, no! And this is going to be silly, but my thought was, well, if he had God in his life, he wouldn't feel that bad. He'd have a much better life. I think that'd be interesting to have a Christian movie that explores somebody that, I don't want to say bad, I feel like that's kind of judgmental, but somebody that's not a squeaky clean Christian.
Yeah. Are these movies portraying the Christians that we should be or the Christians we want to be?
It's kind of a combination.
Opinion.
The movies, I've seen those movies, they kind of feel like a parody of real life. It's almost like a Christian parody. I don't mean to be mean, but it really is.
I completely agree. I can't sit through it. And everybody's asking me, like, you're gonna go, right? I mean, you love movies. I'm like,
front row, baby.
I should be sitting in the back. Don't turn around, though. After that 4-minute monologue, I'm okay. I think I got it.
I mean, how do you make a good Christian movie?
I don't know. Boy, and I'll tell you that there's a big gap in the market there. How do you make a good Christian movie? Or is it just animated movies? Those are good Christian movies.
Whenever I think of like a good Christian movie, I kind of come back to Breaking Bad. I feel like if you take that as your base, there's a way to, and I don't know, I'm not saying I have the answer, but I feel like if you take that as your base, there's a way to craft that into, this is how being a Christian can help you. This is what being a Christian is about. We have Kirk Cameron, who's, great in every way. And
who's lost his mind.
I think it's great he's trying to make Christian movies. I mean, he's made the best Christian movies up to this point we've ever seen.
I disagree.
What's better? Jesus Christ Superstar? Good movie.
I love Jesus Christ Superstar, so...
I've never seen it, so I really can't
comment. Are you kidding?
Nah.
Has Jennifer seen it? I know Jennifer.
She probably has.
Oh, you've got to see that. That's on your list. You get that on the list and you watch it.
I've seen a clip from it. Does that count?
But how about...
Passion?
I've
seen it. That's a good movie.
It's not something you watch twice.
You can't.
I don't think so.
I mean, that's a good movie, but that's kind of a different category.
Buy the DVD. But it's a Christian movie. See, that's a Christian movie.
But see,
I know it's more of a historical Christian movie than a nowadays.
I feel like The Passion is more of just a retelling of what happened. Like, we don't get into these Christian morals of courageous and fireproof that really holds it up that this is how a Christian acts. Everybody else is wrong.
I think those movies put us in a worse light than we already could be as Christians.
God's Not Dead. I haven't seen it, but I read a review from somebody basically recapping how ridiculous the movie is at every single turn. I didn't know much about War Room, but now that you tell me it's about the devil...
Now you must see it?
No, that kind of goes even less for me.
Oh, and she's in the living room going, "Where are you?" And I just keep waiting for her to be like, "I'm in the closet, Clarice," or whatever, from Scream.
I would like that. Part of my problem is anytime the topic of the devil comes up, I kind of have issues with that.
What are your issues?
I'm not really a devil believer in the traditional sense.
Me either.
I feel like it's very easy to say, "Yep, devil made me do it, not my fault."
That's right.
3-year-olds joke about that. I'm pretty sure adults are doing pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
It's not the devil made me do it.
Thank goodness
it's on me.
I'm not the only one.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I wasn't sure how you're going to react to that, so that is encouraging. Whew. Yeah, every time someone's like, well, the devil's always trying to tempt you. I'm like, no, that's pretty much every bad decision I've made has been me wanting to do what I wanted to do.
You're hardwired that way.
Yeah.
You're hardwired toward me.
We are ingrained being selfish.
Right. Not sure where you were going to go on that one.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how you're going to react, so that's good.
No.
We really are soul brothers, aren't we?
No. I had to know your Christian movie, what you'd watched and what you'd thought about it, just because even as a Christian, I can't watch those and be like, these are good. Not at all.
They're good Christian movies, but that's not saying a whole lot.
They're not even good Christian movies.
They really are, though. I mean, as far as if you take the Christian genre.
Go watch Jesus Christ Superstar.
I'll have to check that out.
Again, it's historical. I'm not sure that Jesus sang or played electric guitar, but
we don't know.
We don't know. Go watch Jesus Christ Superstar. Your whole take on musicals kind of baffles me a little. Because you like movies and you like music. I understand maybe you don't like that type of music. Sometimes when you put those things together, they hit so perfectly that you can't ignore how good it is. Jesus Christ Superstar is definitely one of those because it is rock music.
As far as musicals go, I will say I watched Singing in the Rain, and that kind of changed my mind a little bit.
Wow. Singing in the Rain changed your mind.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. You clearly haven't seen enough musicals.
Don't watch many musicals. I watch a few Bollywood musicals, and if anything will turn you off a musical, that will.
Well, that's because they're all the same. Everything's same actors.
That's like when I was trying to chase the IMDb top 250 list, I was watching the Bollywood. Man, now that I'm not doing that, not watching more Bollywood. It's going to be really good. I'm going to have to really go into these reviews to make sure there's no musical numbers. Actually, you know what? All I have to do is check the length. If it's over 2 hours, not watching it.
How about Indian-inspired movies? Like
Slumdog?
Slumdog. You have Slumdog. You have...
See, that's not a Bollywood movie.
No, I know. But at the end, they do a Bollywood-style type thing. At the end, after the movie's completely over and the credits are going, they're all doing a dance, a Bollywood type of
see, I probably didn't even watch past that.
Oh, see, I like that. As long as it's not in the movie, I'm okay. But there's some other ones, too. I mean, I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
Spinal Tap, is that considered a musical?
Nah, I wouldn't consider Spinal Tap a musical. We'll discuss musicals at another time. When you watch a couple, like Chicago, that's a good musical.
I didn't like Chicago. I was highly against musicals. That one was probably deserved a second chance.
Yentl's a good one.
Moulin Rouge?
I didn't really enjoy that at all.
I fast-forwarded through 3/4 of that movie, so I'm not sure.
I thought there were going to be naked women in this, honey.
I was just hoping that girl would die so the movie would end. I was like, just please, let's end this movie.
Well, Yentl's a good one. I mean, they're Jewish. It's, World War II? World War I? I can't remember which one. She has to pretend to be a man. It's pretty good.
Getting back to the movies I watched this week, I also watched The Theory of Everything, the Stephen Hawking biopic.
Oh, how was that?
It was very good, but I was also disappointed.
Did you know anything about Stephen Hawking before you watched this?
I knew he was a physicist. I knew he had ALS. I knew he had written A Brief History of Time.
Everything that everybody knows about Stephen Hawking.
I liked the movie. I thought it was a great biopic on Stephen Hawking. Right. My issue with it, it's like a Wikipedia summary of his life. Another thing I appreciated, it's as much about him as it is about his wife. You think about it, she had a tough time.
Honestly, I had no idea he was married.
Yeah, he'd been married twice.
He's currently married now?
I think so. Eddie Redmayne, the actor, such an amazing job. He looked a lot like Stephen Hawking, and the physicality of the role, and like how,
oh yeah,
he did such a great job on that.
They could have probably got Hawking to play himself.
They actually, I read some trivia that said they actually had him shoot some scenes, but they just kept Eddie Redmayne because he did such a great job, and he just to keep it consistent. I think they did use Stephen Hawking's voice towards the end, or his voice
Right, his
box.
voice simulator thing. He's been on several episodes of Big Bang Theory, if you've ever seen that.
Doesn't really seem like my type of show. I watched an episode once, and it just didn't hit me.
Oh, so that's one of those shows I watch all the time.
Felicity Jones played his wife. She did a great job. I mean, the acting, the production, they span, 50 or 60 years? Looks great. Cinematography's pretty nice.
I just didn't think there would be enough of his life that I'd want to know about.
Well, here's my complaint, and here's where it kind of falls for me, is that while it's a neat story, but it feels like a summary, I wasn't really inspired. I feel like it just hit too many high points. Like it's just trying to, all right, let's get through every part of his life. I wanted to see, what is his day like? I mean, I know he's a physicist. What does he actually do? The movie never showed me that. And it makes me think of the movie Gattaca, because I've considered that very, very inspirational. And it shows the struggle very clearly. And I feel like this movie kind of reached for that a couple times. But before it got there, it's like, oh, let's just cut to the next thing because we got to keep this thing moving. I think it's very good, but I thought it could have been so much better.
What it sounds like is maybe it wasn't it wasn't personal enough.
Yeah, because every time they kind of got into like the struggle of what it's like to live with ALS, they just kind of veered away from it. Like they get close and they veer away, and they're like, let's really explore that. Really show like
maybe it's something he didn't want to talk. Maybe it's maybe it's something maybe that's something he keeps private.
I don't know what a theoretical physicist does during the day anyway. So I'd like to know that. And then does Stephen Hawking like go into a lab? Does he write? I don't know what he does. And I would just like to. I think the movie should tell me that.
A whiteboard and a marker. Well, probably talking to someone who has holding the marker in front of the whiteboard.
I wanted to see that. I wish they'd really delve into that a little bit. Yeah. And then one thing I found odd is that they have some marital problems, which inevitable with that kind of marriage. But what I found odd was that at the end, of course, every biopic you have to have the text at the end that says this person went on to do whatever. But he talked about how his wife went on to remarry. And it didn't say anything about him remarrying, so I looked it up because it hinted very strongly that he and his nurse had a very close relationship, but it didn't say they went on to marry, so I just looked it up to see what happened. And they did marry, so I found it weird that they didn't say at the end his wife went on to remarry.
Maybe he didn't want it to look like he had an affair with the nurse and his wife moved on. And his wife, left him because he had an affair with the nurse.
And I don't know how much control he had or how much input he had on... I mean, he definitely had some input.
Of course.
But I just found it odd that why would you not just show both sides? Because they strongly hinted in the movie that he and the nurse were an item. Why not just put the text and say, hey, they made it legitimate?
Surprised I made it one in there.
It's still a good movie, but I thought it could have been great. And the last movie I watched this week was Nashville. That is from 1975.
Nashville?
Robert Altman.
I've never heard of it.
I'd never heard of it either. Yeah, I look at different movies and see how well acclaimed they are, and this one is very well acclaimed. And it's a really neat movie. And what makes it almost better is that if they try to make a movie like this today, they would fail so spectacular.
What's it about? Country singers?
In a way, it's an ensemble.
Nailed it.
It's an ensemble piece, and it's kind of framed by this guy that's on this political campaign. You never see him, but he has this van that's blaring his ideology, kind of driving around Nashville, so you kind of hear that. And the movie's a satire. There's just this element of humor woven throughout every scene, and sometimes it's very subtle. And like any good satire, some parts are almost so ridiculous you don't believe them, but then you think, oh yeah, that would totally happen. Each character, they crafted a unique story for each character. You know, I think Love Actually is a more recent movie that's a pretty good ensemble piece. But you look at some of these other ensemble pieces, they get bad quick, because it's hard to juggle that many characters and do a good job. Look at True Detective. They couldn't even juggle 4 characters. Nashville has 20. Great job, and then kind of all comes together at the end with they wrap everything up. Right. Very good. Just a satire, politics, country music, and everything in between.
Let's check it out.
It was interesting.
And they make a list for you.
You do.
List of movies that you can see. That way we can discuss, because there are some movies that I know you haven't seen that you should see. Nashville is not one that made my radar. I don't know how you come across these.
I am on this website called icheckmovies.com. It does 2 things. It helps me keep track of the movies I've seen, but it also will say, this movie is on this many top lists. Like Nashville, the reason I picked it, it's on 12 top lists, which is
heard of it.
A ton of lists. But there's a number of sites that help you keep track of which you've watched. And I like this one because I can click the IMDb list and say, all right, how many am I missing? Which at this point I don't care, but it's just a good barometer to say a movie that's on 12 top lists, that's really good.
It's so weird to not hear of it, though. That's so weird.
Oh yeah, 1975.
Yeah, 75. Piece. Yeah. It's not like we haven't all heard of Star Wars.
Well, that's
77.
Huge. Well, that's a cultural phenomenon.
I read something recently that said Burt Reynolds was supposed to play Han Solo, but instead he turned it down so he could play Stroker Ace. Life decisions, people. Life decisions.
I think he spared us on that one, though.
Could you imagine Burt Reynolds as Han Solo?
Hey, Luke Skywalker. How about you hop in my ship, the Smoky Bandit? We'll outrun these cops.
Smokies.
All right, we need to do the top 3. I'm going to go with the top 3 most annoying office habits. And my top 1 is clipping your fingernails in the office.
I'm gonna go above that. If anyone ever clips their toenails in the office, that probably beats the fingernails.
Well, I'm gonna say that I've never seen anybody clipping toenails, but you know what it sounds like. And I've never actually looked, because what if they're clipping toenails? I don't want to see that. I'm just gonna hope it's fingernails.
I'll go with mine. This is my number 1, but I'm not gonna put them in order. It's not my number 1. When the cubicle is so decked out with personal stuff, it's too much. I don't care whether it's pictures of your family or just the poster with the cat who's hanging on the wire and it says hang in there. Any of that. There's a fine line. You should decorate it like you're decorating your home, I think. Pictures should be in frames. It should look decent.
Maybe their home looks like that.
you thumb tap pictures up on the wall, and no. Tackiness. And I know you can't undo people's tackiness. That's definitely on the list.
I've only had an office one time, but when I quit that job, it took me all of, 15 seconds to clear it out, because I had a bag. I picked the bag up. I walked out the door. I've got a cubicle now, and even that, very little personal stuff. I've got one picture of my son. I've got a printout that says Woodworking Hobbyists United with the picture of that. And then I've got a business card tacked up on the wall. That's all I've got.
Yeah, I've had offices, but I've always decorated the office. Framed pictures, it should look nice. Even cubicles. I really think your cubicle should look presentable.
Well, before you said you don't want it too personal. Now you're saying it should look nice?
No. What I'm saying is too tacky.
Okay.
Too tacky with your personal things. And I understand that tacky is a taste, but it's that person that just puts every little tchotchke in their little cubicle or...
I would add some things to that, but I think I just invited all my people I know at work to like our podcast. I'm not sure I can start talking about them now.
So Donna, you who clip your fingernails, word hears you.
My next one, and this drives me pretty crazy, and this might just be my own personal pet peeve. If somebody brings donuts into the office, you look in the box and you see half a donut, that irks me. And this is why. Because either you took the donut with hands on each side and pulled it apart, and you touched the donut and you left it back, or even if you cut it, you still had to hold the donut, so you touched the donut. And the fact is, I don't care if you're trying to be healthy, eat the whole donut, own that donut, and the worst, and I've seen this, a quarter of a donut. You know, if you can't eat the whole donut, don't eat any donut. Eat the whole thing.
Or just, you know what? Cut the quarter off and eat the quarter.
And, you know, I don't know what works for me most. It's like, oh, I'm being healthy. I only ate half a donut. Or that they're touching a donut.
Even though I had an office, I didn't spend a whole lot of time in there. So I'll try to think of some other things that really bothered me.
Did it bother you when people tell you not to cut your toenails? Leave me alone. I'm going to cut my toenails if I want to.
You know, my office had a door on it. I'll cut whatever I want to cut, whenever I want to do it. You know, the chairs. Gosh, my office was a cube. And sometimes things would go missing. And I don't care, you know, you want to take a pencil, a pen, fine. You want to snatch my ruler, stapler, great. Sometimes the chair would be missing. I'm the kind of person, I don't just go use the chair that came with the office equipment. Like, I'll go get my own chair. Because again, I don't think it should look like you're in a cube. I want it to look nice. So, you know, I would go out and buy a nice looking chair, not go to Office Max and spend the $99 on the fake Herman Miller Aeron chair. I'd go out and get the nice one. So sometimes that chair would be missing and I'd have to go find it. So yeah, that one.
So do you find it like in somebody's cubicle?
Oh, of course. Or somebody would use it. They would push it out into like, you know, the common area of the queue. I'm like, really? You couldn't have returned the chair? It got so bad that a guy that was next to me, he tethered his chair to his desk using aircraft wire and like these clamps holding it down. So it was tethered. It could not reach outside of his office.
That's one thing. Our office, we started with I don't know how much they cost, but very uncomfortable chairs. We kind of know the chair distributor, like I think it's Steelcase, which is like along the lines of Herman Miller type chairs.
Right.
So they let us have a bunch of demos. Yeah, we'll probably never need them back. And it is night and day difference. I mean, I have this chair, you know, it's the ergonomic and
that's
oh my
what
gosh,
I mean,
it's
man. That's what I mean. That's why I don't want to just use the.
But see, the thing is, I'm sitting in a $2,000 chair, so it's hard for me to kind of get that on my own dollar.
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's
man,
true.
it is a nice chair.
Yeah, but I'd spend $400 or $500 on my office chair. If I'm in there, I'm in there. You know, I want to be comfortable. I don't want the crappy chair that came with the desk.
To round out my three, I guess it'd be people that talk like they're an authority on the subject and they have no idea what they're talking about.
Well, that could be anywhere. That doesn't actually have to be at work.
That's true. It's still annoying though.
Again, there's just not enough office things that I can remember.
I'll give you another one. Today, my work, we had mandatory pictures. They had to take our pictures so they can post them on the website.
Okay. All right. Okay. I can understand that.
I don't necessarily mind that my picture's taken, but I don't think they can tell me it's mandatory because I'm pretty sure legally I have to consent for that to happen.
I'm pretty sure they're your workplace and they can tell you that they need a picture of you.
Nah, I mean, if I sign some kind of agreement or contract that allows them to do that, but I don't think I signed anything. I think legally, I think I'd have to consent. Now, of course, for me to make a fuss about it is, hey, it's promotion time, but you're not getting promoted. I mean, there's no benefit for me to argue. My pet peeve is that I feel like they're not disclosing my rights fully, that I have full power to not get my picture taken. They can't require me to do it.
I think they can, yes.
Or they can make it uncomfortable for me not to.
Either way, I can see how it might bother you, yes. To get back to your donut thing, that's my third one. Why is it that everyone feels the need to bring in cake or donuts? Why doesn't anybody bring in a vegetable tray occasionally? My gosh. You know how many times people bring in stuff? And I like free food. Everyone loves free food. But I'm not going to eat the cake and donuts, people. Where's the big thing of hummus? That's my final thought on that.
You know, there's a thing where like you can't get the last donut, so the donut's just sitting in the office for 3 or 4 days because nobody wants to get the last donut.
That wouldn't bother me, but it doesn't have to be super healthy. I just don't want it to be cake or donuts. Why is it always cake or donuts? Why are we always celebrating people's birthdays in the office? We're adults. Let's celebrate with a beer and out and get some Japanese food. Why are we getting Helen a cake?
Company morale.
Company morale. Do it when it's not people's birthdays.
That's the excuse, though.
Take us to go play paintball.
They can't afford that.
Because I want to shoot Donna for clipping her fingernails. I think I just about wrap up the top 3.
I think so.
Thanks for listening to Fridays on the Fly. I'm Eric.
And I'm Ward. We are all over the place. FridaysOnTheFly.com is our website. You can find every other social media profile we have from that website. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google+, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and probably some more that I'm forgetting. Search for Fridays on the Fly and you'll find us.
And if you're any of my friends, you're about to get invited to like our page.
And if you're one of my friends, you've already been invited.